Yeah, 2021 off to a great start. Anyway, hey everybody, and happy New Year to everyone that sat through the ungodly hell that was 2020. Welcome to 2021, and yeah. Anyway, with that all said, hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews doing a quick vlog review of Tenet. The reason why I'm a little more mellowed than usual is a couple of things. One, my dad just reorganized the figure section, so you actually get to see that more in the vlogs, and probably more so on this angle. Still need to figure out a certain couple of posters coming up for Jason's inevitable review for Wonder Woman 84. My quick thoughts across the board before we get to that, since we're talking WB content. Yeah, I think the drinker kind of called it. Card 2. I'll reiterate that when I'm Jason, probably next week. So, yeah, I tried preloading some footage, but, like, as per usual, memory cards and a really dumb Amazon camera usually doesn't really mix here in the channel, but hopefully that's the last of the hurdles when it comes to what's left of 2020 coming into the new year. So, other quick updates for content I'm going to do hopefully this year. My editorial on Last of Us Part 2, bought it over the holidays at a reduced price, because yeah, like hell I was going to buy that at full price, just saying, Neil, not even going to do that, but I'm going to keep that light. Again, I don't know if Sony's still going to go out of its way to copyright strike me for just talking about the game, because that's kinda not fair and beyond stupid and breach of trust, or some terminology down there I could probably have to figure out legally speaking. So yeah, let's get to Tenet. Sat through this movie 3 times, and 2 out of those times I slept through with my father being in one of those watchings. I bought it online, not really online. I bought it through my PlayStation, again over the holidays. Tried my best to remember my first viewing and then the other viewings. So that's kind of where we are. So non-spoilers it is. If you want full spoilers of just basically how this weird Nolan of a Nolan movie gonna go, I highly recommend Kind of Funny's Nolan in review if they haven't done a full playlist. If not, I'll leave their Tenet review up. It's really good. Even with the sporadic spoilers, it's gonna get confusing because again, palindromes and Robert Pattinson actually kind of looking like he earns being the next Batman, even though there's rumor mills. Again, I'll probably reiterate more when I'm Jason next week. Down in the description of him sorta having cold feet being Batman this long, even though the movie isn't out yet. That's also a long story. As long as mostly other like DC related content like death metal that I've been looking into. No card to that. I'll reiterate that when I do the Wonder Woman review. So, where does this start off? A lot of noise. Again, it's Nolan. And, again, far as sporadic spoilers go, the opening, I think the orchestral shootout is actually really good. It's like the highlights of how you kind of see Nolan has been the last 6 years after the Dark Knight trilogy. And more so, it's very action-packed. It's very nice. John David Washington, for once, has basically saved me some time understanding his character's name, because apparently Nolan didn't want to give him a name either, and just simply called him the protagonist. Yeah, we're talking that kind of like flew too close to the sun kind of Nolan we're looking at here. Anyway, yeah, John David Washington is basically the son of Denzel, and yeah, he basically has the look, the stutter, the mannerisms, kind of like his dad, but like his own kind of style when we get to later scenes, like the bungee sequence for one of the gun dealers that ends up becoming a crucial thing going forward in the story. So yeah, I can't explain every single core character. My bad to the cast, aside from Robert Pattinson's Neil. I think I got that name right, God willing. He's definitely the highlight. He's basically going to be one of those guys you would love to work with in like a weird covert kind of way. It's not like Bond-esque, but kind of, I guess, a higher tier, I want to say Strike Back for me, but definitely like a Mission Impossible if it figured out how to do sci-fi at this point. And yeah, since I'm talking movies, yeah, I was very much aware of Tom popping off to one of his executive producers on some sort of rant he was trying to make when they were doing the new Mission Impossible that's coming out, hopefully this new year nowadays. It sounds a little rehearsed, but his heart is in the right place when it comes to how they have to be the gold standard for cover restrictions and stuff like that. Again, I won't go into it. I'll have my own personal thoughts of it if it ramps up, which so far the news doesn't look like it's going to ramp up. But if it does, link in the description down below to that. audio if you can, if you even can find the audio, look it up online if you can. So yeah, as far as the plot goes, it's just all his usual action set pieces, which are really good, especially the first heist of many. Not a whole lot compared to Inception 10 years prior. Wow, that's old, and I really should do a retro review of that, honestly. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do that, or give me a like on this review if you want me to do just legacy/retro Nolan reviews. I have watched a big bulk of his stuff. I have seen also the Dark Knight trilogy. I think if I could dig into the coffers of my old channel, I might have reviewed Rises. Would like to look back into it, even if I didn't. For, I guess, a mini series for a Bat Month, if I'm going to do one this year. Probably not. What else? Like I said, the Bungie sequence was good. Most of the noise that everyone thought of, I had to put up with, theatrically speaking, is also here when you buy it on online or Amazon or wherever you got it streaming wise. It's the same issue here too, but not as egregious. Mostly in the action sequences, you can see that you do have to pick up the volume to hear crucial dialogue going forward for future stuff going on in the story. And yeah, as far as every other character, I think in the kind of funny in review they had talked to death about Kenneth Branagh, who was also, I think, was in 1917 or no, Dunkirk, both, I guess, World War films. Dunkirk, World War II, 1917, World War One. Oscar season was like that the last couple of years. It was kind of like blurring a little. They were like back to back. It's a whole thing. Anyway, yeah, Kenneth Branagh is a long regular among many regulars that you will probably see in this film. Alfred from the Dark Knight series games. I totally forgot his name. My bad. Michael Caine. There we go. Sir Michael Caine. My apologies. Yeah, he shows up for like all of like 5 minutes just to explain the bunch of secrets going forward. And a lot of the early stuff is very top tier Nolan. When they start using the time travel, it's only crucial for about a handful of scenes, especially the climax. And I might get into deeper with the spoilers if I can remember it. If it's Star Wars Step, if you want to know. It's not bad. It's not intensively overly complicated. There is a bunch of like enemies, NPC like armies with like one going inverted and one going in the present. That's kind of how his time travel works. Inverted basically means what you're doing is like showing a bit of the future, and then you're in the present, and you're like, this hasn't happened yet. Just let it play out, and then you play it out. It's kind of like that with most of the fight sequences, when the protagonist has to fight himself due to what the time travel, I think, in the final act had to lead up to. It's a little oversimplified, just saying that, but again, I did sleep through 2 of my 3 showings at home, so my bad. Like I said, if you're not into like the logic of it, it does cram itself a little, and you do need to rewatch to understand the ending. When it comes to the opening, comes to the final like war-esque sequence he was trying to like replicate, I guess, from Dunkirk, but with modern day weapons and stuff. It's weird. It's very confusing. The only last sporadic spoiler I'll say, and if you really want to know, 3-2, he kind of confirmed, I think either through Reddit or somebody, that Neil is not the protagonist's kid in the future or something like that. Kind of like a Cable kind of vibe. Hence the X-Men shirt. I'm trying to justify it now at this point. My bad. Anyway, yeah, it's not gonna be like that. It's just some guy he worked under in the future to help out. Again, this is a spoiler, but again, even as a spoiler, this is also Nolan, and you're gonna need to rewatch it to see a better context of it and why we have Reddit for stuff like this in the first place. So, overall with the movie, it's still worth it. If you're in it for just the action sequences, it's definitely top tier, like Nolan in his prime. Like, he never left it, honestly. If you're in it for the sci-fi angle, Interstellar, I think his last sci-fi movie prior to this is a little more, explains itself a little more in certain context. I guess now for viewing recommendations for anybody that wants to see Nolan stuff outside of the Dark Knight trilogy and Inception. I highly recommend Memento. I might do that as a retro review someday. It's one of his first story within a story kind of vibes, and you can see how it was weird but not as complex as it gets later on. If you're in it for what is like an Oscar caliber movie he's been doing nowadays, definitely Insomnia. It shows like a big like thriller kind of aspect. I think it's also a remake from an international film. I'll go look into it if I ever do a retro review. And my overall rating for Tenet, it's at about a 9.5, Would have been a 10 if, again, Nolan tried his best to simplify, I guess, more importantly, mainly his endings. That's most of, like, the only critique I can see so far. And I can see that more or less. So, that all being said, end card's finally coming up to my future review of Wonder Woman 84 and my future review of, hopefully, the top 5 movies of the year. Yes, we are really doing that. So with that all being said, in the meantime, these will be previous videos here from last year. Shirt here as always for the to sub to the channel. Notification bell down below if you want me to talk about more Nolan content, because again I've been looking into it with Nolan in review. I have rewatched some of the movies, not all of them I have rewatched or at all watched. Insomnia, I might have caught it viewing once on HBO like years ago. I definitely tried my best to rewatch Memento, and it's not bad. It's still worth it as a legacy review. I have not seen his first film, Following, so with that all being said, take care, subscribe, and what is even a palindrome, what is inverted, and apparently Tenet can open the right doors, but some of the wrong ones too. Again, it's Nolan. You're gonna have to need a Reddit to explain this. Just saying.